Hi there, Sapphics. Welcome to the This Lesbian Has Opinions podcast. I'm Chloe Marie, I'm your host. And what we're going to do here is we're going to read a couple Reddit stories and I'm going to give my opinions on them. And yeah, we're going to have fun. So, to get into the first story, because I don't yet have a solid intro, but it'll probably change over time as I get used to this. To get into the first story, this comes from Am I the Asshole? And it's Am I the asshole for not wanting to talk about my daughter's lesbianism? I knew this was coming. My daughter brought a friend back from college at the end of last year that I suspected was her actual girlfriend. My thing is, if my daughter is a lesbian, I don't want to know. I'm homophobic, I admit it. I am. Don't hate gay people personally, and I think they should all be respected, but I understand it. But I don't understand it, and I don't want to understand it. They can live their lives, and I'll live mine, and we'll just peacefully coexist. So if my daughter's a lesbian, great. I just don't want to talk about it, hear about it, think about it, see it, anything. My daughter called me recently and said, Daddy, I have something to tell you. And said, if this is about that friend you brought home last year, I already know, and I still love you. I just don't want to talk about it, okay? If you guys are happy, that's all I need to know. She said, Daddy, I want to see you. I'm coming to see you this weekend. I said, that's fine, but if it's to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it. Just do what you want to do with your life and be happy. I don't need to know all the details. Then she started crying, and I handed the phone off to my wife. My wife came in later and said, I know how you feel, but that's still our daughter. She doesn't even want to accept it. She wants to hear she wants you to hear you out. No, she wants you to hear her out. I said we can talk about anything else. I don't need to know about her sex life. She can share that with you. So am I the asshole for not wanting to hear slash talk about my daughter's sex life? So talking about being a lesbian is not talking inherently about sex. Um, that's a misconception about a lot of LGBTQ plus topics is that talking about it means talking about sex. And that's not the case. Yes, sex is a component of queerness, um, but it's not the only part of it. Um, there's levels to it. And I'm sure this girl is going to talk about her sex life with her dad. Um, so you're not the asshole for not wanting to talk about her sex life, but you are the asshole for not wanting to talk about her lesbianism. And there's a difference. We'll get into some comments and I'll reveal what um the commenters voted this person because this is 4 years old, so it has a badge. Top comment from deleted. You're the asshole. She doesn't want to tell you about her sex life. She wants to tell you about her relationship that's important to her. You're not asking her to peacefully coexist. You're expecting her to hide a huge part of herself from you. Yes, exactly this. This is exactly what I was saying. Um, reply to that, my grandma did this to me and I still haven't forgiven her. Hiding who you are takes such a toll on a person. Another comment. Santa says you're the asshole. You hate who your daughter is and let her know it. You would not act this way if she were bringing a boy home. If your daughter's entire being is a big trigger for you, get some help. Um, ooh, how do I? There we go. Okay. Um, Another comment. You're the asshole here, totally. You're flat out rejecting a part of your daughter. What exactly do you think is going to happen here? She's going to probably only talk to you 2 to 3 times a year going forward because you've effectually cut her out of your life by refusing to talk about anything related to her sexual preference. Get some therapy. Ignoring it is the exact opposite thing you want to do right now. Um, yeah, you don't want to ignore it. You don't want to um ignore your daughter's life essentially. Um it's hard, um and there may be some grief there for a life that could have been. Um but don't forget that um nowadays LGBTQ plus people are having babies and adopting children, so you could still have grandchildren. Um, yeah, I don't know, but you're definitely the asshole, and Reddit agrees. Next story. Am I whoa? Am I the asshole for telling my friend she's not a lesbian? Off the title? Yes. Now, let's read the actual story. I've honestly never used Reddit before. This is from Am I the Asshole? And also from 4 years ago. I've honestly never used Reddit before. I've only ever watched those compilations on YouTube, so forgive me for any errors. So, to the main story. I have a somewhat large group of friends that I've been close with since our early high school days. We've all witnessed and dealt with each other's lives, emotions, problems, etc. We're all quite used to each other and practically know almost everything about each other. Now, out of my group, there are exactly 2 LGBTQ people, me and a girl named Alexis. She's quite new to our friendship group, and while I know some aspects of her, her coming out was really suspicious to me. I'm bisexual, and I've dealt with some shit from people outside our friend group and family. So when Alexis came out as a lesbian, I was genuinely surprised for her and offered support if she ever needed it from any homophobes. However, it just irked me. The reason why I think this is because Alexis has never shown me interest in women. Alexis is the type of girl to sleep around at parties and clubs almost all the time. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. Shut up, Alexa. Almost all of the time, after a party or hookup, she'd come to our group chat and just talk about her experiences. Literally every single person she hooks up with is a dude. She has never even kissed a woman. And when I asked about this, she said it felt weird to kiss a woman. The next thing that began to use the F slur a lot. We'd be talking and she'd throw it out there like, oops, I'm such a F slur gay, yay. And it got to the point where my friends had to tell her she was probably abusing the word. She simply brushed it off and continues to use it heavily. Finally, was an experience that happened a week ago. I was on a call with Alexis. I okay. I didn't believe she was ooh. I decided to take the chance and ask her about any luck with getting her dream girl. She denied it and said she wasn't really looking to date at the moment. I then asked her if she ever planned on dating a woman. She took a long ass pause to think and finally replied with before hanging up on me. I then texted her saying I don't believe she was a lesbian. She replied almost immediately saying she was and that I just I was just wanting her to date her since I am a woman. I texted our group chat and told them that I think Alexis is not a lesbian. She always She has always been weirded out about intimacy with women. I pretty much said I didn't know why she came out besides to abuse the F slur. Any two people of my friend group decided only two people of my friend group sided with me as someone who had photos of Alexis from about a week and a half ago, where she went to a club and was caught making out with a dude. However, the majority of my friend group doesn't believe those are real because I have no clue. My friend group is literally falling apart. Me and the two other friends are being accused of being homophobic and idiots. Alexis is now DMing me some not so nice things, saying, Alexa, stop. The drawback of having an Alexa. DMing me some not so nice things, saying I'm an asshole for trying to say her sexuality isn't right. I'm pretty sure she's not a lesbian, but since I've been getting harassed, I feel like I might be wrong. I don't know. Am I the asshole? So, my opinion here is that this person is the asshole. Um, um, the same way your bisexuality doesn't mean you've necessarily been with men and women. It's about the chance for attraction. It's the same thing with women who are lesbians, with people who are lesbians, I should say. Um, it's not about necessarily being with a woman right then and there or having been with a woman in the past. It's about the probability of attraction, just like it is for bisexuals. And I don't, I don't, um, I don't care like if you've ever been with a woman before. We all have our first partners. And just because I don't know, maybe she's like I don't want to say confused because I don't think she's confused. I think she knows she's a lesbian. But like hooking up with guys and making out with guys could be a defense mechanism. Um so I don't know. But yeah, you're the asshole. On to some comments. Okay. So, top comment. First, just because you've never seen her express interest in women doesn't mean she hasn't. She's been in the closet for a while. She's gotten good at her hiding her attraction to women. Second, maybe she's dealing with compulsory heterosexuality. This point. Maybe that could be why she had such a history of hooking up with guys. Maybe that's why she's still really uncomfortable with her sexuality. Maybe that's why she thinks kissing women is weird. Maybe that's why she doesn't ever imagine herself ending up with a woman. Maybe she's overcompensating for her compulsory heterosexuality, and that's why she throws around reclaimed gay terms so much. To try and force herself to fit in. You're the asshole. And to add, many closeted, newly out, and veteran lesbians feel uncomfortable with intimacy with women. It's called internalized homophobia. How do you not understand that? You're the asshole, you're not the lesbian police. Everyone sucks here. This is childish on both sides. Everyone needs to stop giving a shit about what other people classify or view themselves. You're not a lesbian. Who cares? Um, does this have an effect on your life? No. She sucks for going after you. Seriously, who cares? You're the asshole. You don't get to decide who is and isn't a lesbian. It sounds like maybe she's slept with a ton of guys trying to repress her homosexuality. After coming out, she probably has to come to terms with her sexuality, and maybe that's why she isn't comfortable being forthcoming about her sex life or attraction to women. Hell, when I came out, I was not comfortable discussing that for a long time, especially in a group of mostly heteros. She probably stammered when being probed about interest in women because she one was uncomfortable discussing it, or two was put out by the interrogation of her identity. How would you feel if someone questioned you about your bisexuality? This. Also, what benefit does she have to gain or by pretending to be gay? Why would someone purposefully marginalize themselves? You know, as an LGBTQ plus, the issues we face. You think she's putting this on just as an excuse to use the F slur? In my opinion, lesbians shouldn't be using that word anyway, as it's not theirs to claim. That could have been a conversation you hadn't gone that you if you hadn't gone about invalidating her. Let people know, let people identify how they choose, with support and without skepticism. If they ever realize if they realize in a few years, maybe they're bi or pan or whatever, and decide to come out again, what harm? Makes no difference to your life at the end of the day. Oh, and we have one more. Not the asshole. People saying it doesn't affect you, so you shouldn't care, are wrong. If she was a lesbian, she would have no interest in guys. So she clearly isn't a lesbian. Maybe she's bi, but it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like she wants attention, to be offensive with impunity. This is why I think it's okay for you to feel offended. She's using language, making jokes, and carrying on. And she's supposed to be okay because she's gay, and that's supposed to be okay because she's gay too. If she's not, that's just offensive. She wants to claim ownership of a minority title, but she's not a part of that minority. Trying to expose people like this rarely works, though, so it is better to keep your distance. Don't engage with her, minimize contact, and just be polite in social situations when she's around. Speak with friends who understand, but just ignore her otherwise. And then there was a deleted comment, so I don't know what it says, but the comment after says, "Yep, after I came out as a lesbian, I got scared and dated some guys that I wasn't really attracted to try and force myself to like guys. Spoiler, it didn't work and it made my depression worse. Now I've been out for 10 years. I haven't dated a guy in 7 years, and I'm an out and about queer." So, yeah, this person was voted the asshole, which I agree with. Um, it seems like there weren't any other not the assholes in there except that one. Um, but hey, it is what it is. People have their opinions. I have mine, and I'm just here sharing my opinion. I think the comment point was really important to say. Um, I was thinking that, but I couldn't figure out the word. Um, and I think ultimately the choice for her to identify as who she is hers. It's no one else's. And like that other commenter said, if she comes out as bi or pan or whatever in the future, what harm was done? People come out multiple times as multiple different sexualities, and that's fine. And um I just hope that this person can kind of open their eyes and see that it's not their place to say that she's not a lesbian. Um, it's her place to come out as whatever she is. And you don't get to control other people coming out as whatever they are just because you're bisexual. It's not your choice. So, with that being said, that is the end of today's episode. And keep an eye out for future episodes. I haven't exactly got a schedule down yet, but I will. Yeah. So keep an eye out for future episodes and let me know what you think down in the comments. Um this is gonna be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. So like, review, comment, subscribe, rate, if you're on Apple Music or Spotify. Um Not Apple Music, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Um and yeah, I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.